This story never stops developing, and it developed very quickly. So, on Friday, the Arizona State Land Department canceled the June 27th land auction, and then a couple hours later, the Arizona Coyotes released a statement notably not reaffirming their commitment to the state of Arizona and to bringing hockey back, and also not committing to just filing for the paperwork for this special use permit. A couple hours ago, as of recording, you'll probably see this around 8 a.m. Arizona time, Craig Morgan broke the story. Per sources, Alex Meruelo is walking away from Coyotes ownership. Coyotes management reportedly brought their employees together on Monday and told them they are done. Alex Meruelo is officially walking away, and this comes just later on in the day after they officially announced they will no longer be playing those 6 games at Mullet Arena for the Tucson Roadrunners. And I was going to make that video all by itself, but it seems like whenever I want to talk about the Roadrunners, something else comes up before I can make it. But the Roadrunners will be playing all 36 of their home games in Tucson, and very likely, though this has not been confirmed, once that lease runs up in 3 years, they will probably be moving to Reno, Nevada. Unless Meruelo decides to sell them to Ryan and Ashley Smith, but we're nowhere near that. This is super early and everything. We don't even have a distinction whether or not the Arizona Coyotes branding, like where it belongs to, because Bill Daly told Craig Morgan at PHNX on the topic of Alex Meruelo owning the rights to the Coyotes, he has them until he doesn't, and as soon as this is official, as soon as Meruelo goes to the league and formally notifies them, he no longer has the rights, and it just is a dead, deactivated franchise. I'm going to assume, per the agreements, that everything reverts back to the NHL and not Utah hockey, because Utah hockey was already being treated as an expansion team. However, it's all up in the air. We will not get those answers for a while. What does this mean for Arizona hockey? What does this mean for other potential ownership groups? Craig Morgan has been saying it for a while, even reaffirms it in the most recent emergency podcast, and I think at the very end of this article as well. There are at least 2 other ownership groups. And obviously, I'm one of like 20 people saying this, but I've heard different pitches and different variations since when the team was still playing at Mullet about potentially having Shane Doan involved in one of these. That is pure speculation, alright, 100% speculation, but when I got to talk to Shane Doan before the final game at Mullet, he even personally told me they're gonna be back. I would just be very happy if he meant they will be back because he's bringing them back. But any ownership group, there are at least 2 that we know of. They have not been named, and we do not know too many specifics. And I will go ahead and just repeat what Craig Morgan has said. We will not officially know anything about these groups or how serious they are or whether or not they can get this done until they are allowed to formally engage with the NHL and formally start this process. And considering Alex Meruelo is walking away, that could be soon. Speculation. As soon as Gary Bettman has some open dates for a meeting, these meetings could start. Like, these meetings could start, the preliminary stuff, the first conversations. They can start in weeks, in a month, in 2 months. But the process itself could take 5, maybe 10 years. We have no idea. We simply will not know until these groups come forward. But all I'm going to say is thank you. To Alex Meruelo Sr., a very sincere thank you, because now the work can begin. Because per Craig Morgan's reporting on all of this, he did not properly fund the Tempe campaign. This came from public numbers provided by Councilmember Randy Keating. He lied about how much he spent on that campaign. Per Craig Morgan, he walked away from an ASU arena deal, likely because he wasn't able to put a sports book on it. Very common reporting, including PHNX. There is tribal land that is zoned and they could have started building on months, years ago, and actively chose not to. Very likely because he couldn't put residential, his sports book, and the full entertainment district on it, and also couldn't own the land. We can even talk about how the relationship deteriorated in Glendale, well, not fully on Meruelo, probably not even 80, 70, 60% on Meruelo. He still got it across the finish line. We gotta talk about that. Every single step along the way has been a failure. So I'm going to say, personally, thank you for walking away. Thank you for doing the decent thing, for doing the right thing, and letting another ownership group come in, because now, whether it takes 5, 10 years, Arizona can actually begin the real process to bring hockey back, because he knew about this. He knew about the special use permit chose to not go through the process, and then is surprised that the auction was canceled. This needed to happen, and frankly, if he would have chosen to walk away months ago selling to a local buyer, this team wouldn't have been gone. Or at the very least, there's a very good chance this team would still be playing in Arizona. Even if they're playing one more year at Mullet before anything else is ready, whether it's footprint renovations or whatever else, it doesn't matter. There is a good chance that if he would have walked away in March and sold to a local buyer, the team would still be here. But you know what? Past all that, Alex Meruelo is choosing right now, on June 24th, 2024, the day that the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup, which is funny that no matter what happens in this league, you have to have Coyotes news, major Coyotes news. He is choosing to do the decent thing and to move on. So I'm going to say thank you. Sincerely, I'm going to say thank you, because now Arizona hockey fans can move on, we can have our closure, and we can finally move forward and explore these other ownership groups. It could be really quick, it could take some time, but there will be NHL hockey in Arizona again. I am confident of it. Everyone seems to be confident of this. It sucks it had to come to this, because Craig Morgan did mention it, and I think Petey did as well. And it definitely is a weird concept that a lot of Coyotes fans are happy. A lot of people in Arizona are happy he is walking away, which objectively has more uncertainty. Because if Alex Meruelo would have rebuilt relationships, this could have got done. It's not the path we went down. Now we have uncertainty because the NHL has to vet these groups. We have to make sure they have the money they say they do. We have to make sure they can build the arena. I'm going to use Matt Ishbia as an example because he was on record after the Tempe vote at being interested in potentially buying the team. So I'm going to use him as an example. It could be as quick as Matt Ishbia renovating Footprint Center and us getting a team very quickly. It could be as long as one of these two ownership groups having to go through this long process to get this arena built. And you know what? It might add a couple extra years. It might take 6, 7 years, 10 years, whatever. But if they bring in, for example, Shane Doan, they bring in, let's just say even Charles Barkley. We love Sir Charles in Arizona. You bring in a couple of people that have those relationships, know how to build relationships, know how to schmooze the right people, this can get done. Unfortunately, we have the uncertainty because we don't know. We simply do not know until the process starts, and we do not know when the process is going to start. But it can start as soon as when this is officially done. As soon as the league is notified, whatever contracts are signed, whatever the formal process is, as soon as that is done, the work can begin. This is a brand new day. I am personally feeling very optimistic. Like I said, one more time, thank you, Alex, for doing the right thing and walking away. I'm feeling optimistic for the future. Let's just go ahead and wait and see, but I have a feeling we'll be seeing the Arizona Coyotes a lot quicker than people think. And that is just a feeling. No one's in my ear with that.